Hi guys, this is Pete and this is my point of view on tonight's game, Manchester United versus Fulham. United winning 2-1. What a finish. Before we get into it all, I'm just going to tell you what we're going to go through. So we're going to go through tonight some polls that I put out on Twitter, my thoughts on the game, some of your guys' thoughts off Twitter as well, and then my player ratings. So to get into it, first we'll just go into the two polls that I put out there. So the first poll that I put out there was the man of the match poll, just my unofficial one. This poll got 48 votes, and the four players I put out there were Garnacho, Eriksen, Lindelof and Shaw. I thought these four all had decent games. So in fourth place with 0% of the vote was Lindelof. In third place with 6% of the vote, Luke Shaw. In second place with 44% of the vote, Garnacho. I'm a little bit surprised about that. And then with 50% of the vote and your guys' man of the match, Christian Eriksen. So I got 3 tweets on this poll, so I just want to read those out. So at Mancunian lad _ said, Garnacho will get the plaudits, and rightly so, but I thought Shaw was class today. Provided 3 or 4 really good crosses from the left and was overall solid. The right side of our defence was fragile throughout. To be honest, I agree with that. Our right side was a bit weak today. And then the second tweet on that was from Asif Baba 58, and he said, "Goal Nacho, the match winner." And then the last tweet I got on there was from Martinez SZN, and he said, "Bruno." Obviously, I do think Bruno had a good game in the first half, but he did fizzle out in the second half, especially after he went on the right, so that's why he didn't get into my man of the match poll. And then the second poll, just wanted to put this question out there, and I just asked, is Eriksen the best free transfer of all time? Because for me, he's been absolutely superb, and the fact that we got him on a free is just crazy to me. So the vote at 19% of the vote said no, he's not, and 81% of the vote said yeah, he is the greatest free transfer of all time. I think we had 31 votes on this poll. So I got one comment from at Mancunian lad _ again, and they said Paul Pogba to Juve is up there, as is Pirlo to Juve, but Lewandowski has to be the best free transfer of all time. One of the greatest strikers of his generation, and won it all with Bayern. True, Lewandowski is a good free transfer, to be honest. But for me, obviously, with Eriksen playing for my team and just the complete effect he's had on that team, makes me say that he is the best free transfer of all time. But I do understand where you're coming from. So now we're just going to go into my thoughts on the game. So first half, to be honest, I thought we was really good. First 10 minutes started off a bit slow, but after that I think we got into the game well. Created quite a lot of chances. Eriksen scoring a good goal. I feel like in this half, Bruno was superb, playing in that number 10 position. Did really well at creating lots of chances. Martial today was a little bit sloppy, still looked a little bit lacking in match fitness. Could have had 2 goals for me. And then obviously near the end of the first half, Eriksen should have had a second. And to be honest, I was at half time thinking we might pay for that, not putting those chances away and going into a 3-up, because Fulham are a good side. Today they was missing their biggest threat, so that's one of the reasons why I felt like we did beat them today. They was obviously missing Mitrovic. When they came out in the second half, I feel like we took our foot off the gas a little bit, let them control the midfield too much, give them too much time on the ball. They started to create things, and by the time they scored the goal, they fully deserved it. Obviously, Dan James, ex-player, coming back to haunt us. And Pereira had a really good game. Pre-season Pirlo never did it in the United shirt apart from in pre-season, but obviously at Fulham he's doing really well, and all the power to him for moving to a smaller club and actually getting his career to take off a little bit. Dan James was like a Duracell bunny. I'd never seen him play that well, to be honest. Really good performance. Wish he could have done that for United, but obviously it wasn't the case. But we did make a decent amount of money when we sold him, which was surprisingly good business for United. Yeah, obviously then they kind of had control of the game in the second half, scored the goal. At one point looked like they was going to score the second. I think our first change we made, McTominay on for Elanga, for me wasn't the best move. Putting Fernandes out onto that right hand side and having McTominay at 10 was a little bit strange to me, especially considering how effective Fernandes was in the first half in 10. To put him out on the right, I just feel like he doesn't have the same effect on the game because he can't see as many passes and play the passes, both sides into the passing lanes. So for me, it was a bit of a strange decision. And then obviously the change that we made around the 70th minute, bringing Garnacho on for Martial, who looked a little bit tired, did in the end turn out to be the decision that won us the game. So you've got to give Ten Hag props for that. I feel like once Garnacho was on and Rashford went up through the middle, I feel like their right back was terrified of facing up to Garnacho. I just feel like defenders ain't gonna want to face him. For me, I do feel like we should have had a penalty. I don't know how that decision didn't go to VAR because it looked like a clear foul. Cordova Reed just took out his legs, didn't get anywhere near the ball. I don't understand how that's not a penalty in my eyes, but obviously the referee's seen it totally different. And then obviously right near the end of the game, into stoppage time, almost the last kick of the game really, Eriksen, great ball to Garnacho, gets onto it, uses his speed, directness, gets past his man, slots it away. Absolutely composed finish. You forget how young this kid is. I just hope United are seeing the effect he has on games and are going to give him more game time and convince him to sign a new contract, because for me, we need him to. He looks like the next big thing. Obviously, he needs to do this consistently, and I'm hoping, obviously, he's not going to the World Cup, which is a little bit surprising me from Argentina that, wouldn't take such a good, young, talented player, but I get it. There's this whole Ronaldo's his idol agenda that Argentina fans seem to have against him, so, it kind of might have worked against him that Ronaldo, he's got such a close relationship with Ronaldo, but that's by the by. I just think we need to, through this break, obviously the players are going to go away after a short break and do a training camp in Spain. I think he needs to be really, starting the friendlies, really carrying on with his hard work and his progression in training. And hopefully when we come back, he'll either be starting or getting a lot more chances off the bench. Just into that, obviously, it's a bit difficult because he plays on the left-hand side where Rashford plays, and Martial's most likely going to play through the middle most of the time. So I think what we're going to see is a lot of rotation between Garnacho and Rashford. Maybe, 1 or 2 games you'll see Rashford start with Garnacho coming off the bench, and then it'll swap and change because it's going to be a long old season, especially if we carry on in all the competitions. So hopefully Garnacho's going to get his chance to show us what a good player he is. So that's my thoughts on the game. I'm just going to now go on to some thoughts from you guys. I've just put out a tweet out there asking for your guys' thoughts on the game. So the first tweet I got was from @Martinez SZN, and he said, we need a ball carrying midfielder quickly, to be honest. I feel we struggle too much with cutting through the lines as it is, to be honest. At the moment we need Casemiro and Eriksen to hit an inch perfect through ball, but if we had Frenkie de Jong, he could carry the ball through the press. Now, I do agree we need the type of player who's, good at dribbling in tight spaces in the middle of the park. Someone who offers us something a little bit different. Obviously, you have your Frenkie de Jong who can do that. Maybe Jude Bellingham. Also, is it Moisala, who's at Bayern? Looks a decent young player. Obviously, I think all three of those are going to cost quite a lot of money, whichever one we go for. For me, I think Ten Hag's obsessed with getting De Jong, so we'll have to see how that pans out. And then the next tweet that I got was from @ShoestringPodTM, and he said, "Garnacho is a hero." Love that name for Garnacho. That is all. Just while I mention the Shoestring podcast guys, just do me a favour, check their stuff out, follow them on Twitter, check out the YouTube channel. They're putting out some great stuff, so just give them a follow. Keep an eye on what they're doing, because I really like their content. They're big United fans as well, so it's just nice to support each other. And then the next tweet was from Samuel Obada 76, and he said, "Same stadium, same appointment, both young prodigies, 15 years apart. Garnacho 7 is really becoming a hero and the history maker of the 21st century." Obviously, I think there's a lot of comparisons now being made to Ronaldo. I don't want to hype Garnacho up too much. I think he's a super special player, and if he keeps his head on straight, then he's gonna do big things. But we don't want to put too much pressure on him right now. And then the next tweet that I got was from @red_mist_ said, "Garnacho knows ball, man. That boy is a gift to United. That's all everyone needs to know." I do feel like, obviously, a lot of people are noticing now how good Garnacho is, and I think he's the next youth player that's broken through, and he should be a first team regular, at least off the bench. Then the next tweet that I got was from Mr. Craig Moore 1, and he said, "Good first half, shite second half." I totally agree with that. Could have scored 4 or 5, but we didn't take our chances. We got punished for it, and they deserved their goal. Malacia overcommitted and was in no man's land, and Shaw's positioning wasn't great either for the goal. And then he also said, "Garnacho to the rescue." Sorry, my writing's a little bit bad. Literally at the death. Fantastic build-up play for the goal as well. Eriksen was brilliant. Bruno had a good game, but fell off a bit when he moved out to the right. That's something that did seriously affect our second half performance. I just don't think Bruno works out on the wings. I understand at the moment when Elanga goes off, he's literally our only option, because I don't think that Ten Hag trusts Pellistri at all out there, so I don't think we're going to see him. I'm hoping Pellistri might have a good World Cup, a good World Cup, and then either get a loan move in January and go out somewhere and really impress, or have a really good World Cup and then Ten Hag starts to trust him and use him, because I do want to see Pellistri get used more. So the last thing that I got was a direct message from @RafNelson_Abba, and he said, "Yeah, we started the game well, created a couple of good chances as well, but I thought our finishing was poor and we lacked a bit of cutting edge." Totally agree with that. To control the game before their equaliser. I feel like we should dominate oppositions like Fulham and the likes, but happy to come away with the win. Brilliant run from our special boy Garnacho to steal the show at the death. I hope to see more improvement after the World Cup. That's something I agree with. I think we need to keep up performance after the World Cup. We're in a decent vein of form. Obviously, the loss in the Premier League against Villa wasn't great, because if we'd have won that and then won today, we'd have actually been touching distance on 4th. But we have got a game in hand to get touching distance anyway, so it would have been nice to win that game. But I think we have been in pretty good form. We're winning games. We're not really conceding goals that much. Tonight was a bit of a squeaky bum and was a bit of a tough watch, but it was a win and we're over the moon with it. So now, guys, I'm going to go into my play ratings. So in net, De Gea. For me, De Gea was superb tonight. He could have got into my man of the match poll, to be honest. I'm going to give him an 8. I think he made some superb saves. They were lucky that they didn't score 2 or 3, but obviously De Gea was there in net. I'm really enjoying De Gea at the minute. I think his distribution has improved massively under Ten Hag. Looks like a different keeper now, playing out with his feet. And he's actually getting a lot more confident at sweeping and claiming the ball from crosses. So I'm buzzing about De Gea at the minute. I think we should be giving him a new contract. I know there's been a lot of talk about signing another goalkeeper. For me, if we sign a goalkeeper, it needs to be a young upcoming goalkeeper who's not going to expect to start for the next 1, 2, 3 seasons, because I think De Gea's still got so much to offer. So a great performance from him, and it's an 8. Next, we move on to the right back, Malacia. Malacia, I don't want to be too harsh because he was playing out of position. Obviously, he's a left back by trade. I'm going to give him a 5.5. I think he was a little bit too poor to give an average 6, and I don't want to go too low either and, bash his confidence. I think, like I said, it was just a bit of a poor game from him. He didn't look as comfortable on the right as he does the left. Obviously, he's very left-footed, so every time he got the ball, he had to come inside. And a lot of times when he was getting pressured, he had to make a difficult pass with his left foot instead of, an easy one with his right. So he's out of position. I don't want to be too harsh, but yeah, 5.5 for me. Then next, we're going to go to Lindelof, right centre-back. Lindelof today was superb for me. That's why he got into my man of the match poll. I'm giving him an 8. I think on the ball he was great. Defensively, really good today. Today, like in the last couple of games up against Aston Villa, he's lacked a little bit of strength and he's been a bit lightweight. But today he was really tough in the tackle. Imposed himself on the opponent. Gave their striker a torrid time. I think he would have struggled more up against Mitrovic, but against Vinny, what's he called? I can't remember the name of their forward, but against their forward, he did really well. So for me, he gets an 8. I was, like I say, really mostly his best performance I've seen while he's been at United, to be honest, and that's saying something. So yeah, he gets an 8. Then we move on to Martinez. Today, I think it was one of Martinez's worst games I've seen him play for United. I'm going to give him 6.5, stretched to a 7. Like, he was good with the ball, but when Dan James came on, he did look like he was lacking a bit of pace. I know James is a fucking sonically hedgehog, so I get it. He's not going to keep up with him all the time, but he did give Martinez a bit of a torrid time. So that's why I've marked him down a little bit, to be honest. Thought he was okay defensively, got a few decent heads on the ball, a few good tackles, but also gave the odd pass or 2 away, and also then had a torrid time against James. That's why I'm giving him 6.5, 7. I'll say 7 because I don't want to be too harsh because he is my favourite player at United at the minute. Next we move on to Luke Shaw. I'm going to give Luke Shaw an 8 as well. I think he was superb again. I think he's been superb for the past maybe 5 or 6 games, excluding the Villa game. I think the Villa game in the league he was a bit poor, but other than that he's been really good lately. Today, getting forward a lot, overlapping. Him and Rashford work really well together on that left hand side. I do enjoy watching them play together, and his overlapping play, his crosses into the box are all good. Very good defensively today, so that's why he gets an 8 from me. Moving into the midfield, we'll go first with Casemiro. Today was a 7. It was a really steady performance from Casemiro. Broke up the play well, used the ball well. I do love his use of the ball. Like I've said many times on my videos now, I didn't know how good he actually was at passing the ball out. So it's been a really nice, pleasant surprise to see him be this good. But yeah, he's impressed me, and I'm really happy with his performance today. So next we go to Eriksen. Eriksen, for me, I'm going to give a 9, and I'm going to give him my man of the match. Obviously, in the poll as well, it was really tight. I kind of thought that Garnacho would get your guys' vote with him, scoring the late winner. But yeah, I think Eriksen was superb today. The goal was nice, assist at the end. Should have scored a second. Uses the ball really well in midfield. For me, just makes our midfield tick. Gets the ball, uses it smart, passes it around, and then he'll spread it with a nice long ball every now and then. Just a really good player. The fact that we got him for free is crazy to me. So yeah, man of the match. Next we move on to Bruno, who played at number 10 for most of the game, and then obviously when Elanga got subbed off, went out to the right. I'm going to give Bruno a 6.5 because I think first half he was a 7.5, and then the second half really quiet when he went to the right and was a 5.5. So I just want to average it together, 6.5. I think first half created a load of chances, moves the ball really well. Him and Eriksen link up so well together. I think that's a partnership that really works. So that, I enjoy that when I see them play together. But then when he went to the right, it's just not the same. He works hard and everything, and he does try on the right, but he just doesn't look as good. So now I'm going to move on to who played on the right hand side, at least originally, until he got subbed off, was Elanga. Really poor game for me. I'm going to give him a 5. I think he needs a loan in the Championship. I don't think he's a player that's got what it takes to be starting games. Like, use him as a sub, yeah. He's better as an impact sub. He's been okay when he's come off the subs bench this season, but every time he started, he looks like a kid. He doesn't look like a man. He looks like a kid, and I think he needs a rough loan in the Championship, where he's going to get a bit of strength to him and a bit of fight, because he has got all the tools to be a top player. It's just at the minute he just looks a little bit lightweight. So he gets a 5 from me. A little bit disappointing, but he's a kid and I don't want to, bust his balls too much. Then we move over to the left-hand side, Rashford. I'm going to give Rashford a steady 7 today. I think he was okay. I think he played reasonably well. A lot of runs in behind, which he's really good at. He times his runs really well, and our players look for him constantly, so that's a good thing. And I actually enjoyed it a bit more when he moved into the centre forward position once the subs got made, because I think that's when you see the most of his pacing behind. But yeah, just a 7, good performance. Didn't like the world on fire, but did well. Then moving to centre forward, I'm going to give Martial a 7 also. Like I did say before, he did start to get a little bit tired, but he could have scored 2 goals. I just think with him only just coming back from injury, his touch was a tiny bit off. But you can't. I'm not going to jump on him for that. He's just come back from injury. It's only his second start since coming back from injury, and he played reasonably well. I think he offers so much to our game. I think compared to when we have Ronaldo up top, he just makes us play in a totally different way. He presses so well from the front. He uses the ball, so well, and I just enjoy him as a centre forward for us. So yeah, he gets a 7. Now we'll go on to the subs. There was obviously 2 subs today. The first sub, McTominay. The last couple of times McTominay's come on, he's played as a 10, which I think's a bit strange, but he didn't do bad. I'm going to give him a 6. I don't think he affected the game massively, but there was a few nice touches. He didn't have loads of time to affect the game, but he did well. So yeah, he gets just a 6, an average 6. Like I say, I think it's a bit strange that the last couple of games he has played as a 10, but I think Ten Hag likes to keep Eriksen in that deeper role because he controls and ticks it a bit better than what McTominay does next to Casemiro. So I think that's why that change has been made like that the last couple of times. And then obviously the next sub is Garnacho. I'm going to give Garnacho an 8.5. Same as when he came on against Villa in Carabao Cup. He was superb. He gets the ball, he's so direct, wants to beat a man, wants to take people on. He's doing great things. I think we do have a special player on our hands, but I don't want to hype him up too much, put too much pressure on his shoulders because he is only a kid. But great stuff from him. For the goal, great run and a great finish. And I feel like he should have had a penalty. I'm not gonna lie. I think the ref got that totally wrong. the refs got it totally wrong, that A, he didn't want the penalty, and B, it didn't go to VAR. And if it did go to VAR, they've done a very quick check on it and said it's not. But Di Cordova just literally wraps his leg round his leg, takes him out. So for me, that's a penalty. They've seen a lot softer penalties given this year. So for me, yeah, it should have been a penalty. But I'm not going to take that away from Garnacho, because he's been absolutely superb, and he won us the game. Absolute scenes when he won. I was screaming my bleeding head off. This is what United do. They never make it easy. It's last minute all the time, but that's why we love them. So that's my player ratings, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Just do me a favour, if you're new to the channel, the first time watching, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Obviously, I've only just started out doing these videos. I'm really enjoying it. Man United's a massive passion of mine. I love watching my team play. Been a fan all my life, so, and it means a lot to me that I've got other United fans watching me and listening to my opinion. And I really want to thank all the guys who, tweeting on Twitter. I've said this quite a few times now, but it's, my channel's called Peach United Point of View, but without your guys' point of view too, it'd be pretty boring. So I really want to say thank you to all you guys who tweet in consistently. Cheers for that, and thanks for watching. Obviously, we've got a break now until the World Cup is over. I am trying to think of maybe some content I can put out there while the World Cup's on, maybe once or twice a week. Obviously, I'm not going to be making as many videos because United won't be playing. I'm maybe looking to doing transfer stuff, but it's not really my cup of tea. But my idea is possibly doing like twice a week checks on the United players that have played. Just go through the performances and how they've played, give them ratings and stuff like that. If you guys think that's a good idea, drop a comment, let me know. So cheers for watching, guys. Thank you very much. Like I said before, like and subscribe to the channel, and I really appreciate you watching. Thank you. Bye.